Alright, so we were going to do Helid Gulch. We're just taking the family out hiking a little bit. And instead we're doing Grey Rock. So that's what we're looking at. Early spring in Colorado. So what we have here is kind of a mountain variety of the yucca plant. These spines, they're really fibrous. They're really strong. So you make really good cordage out of those. They grow blossoms out of stems, and they blossom here in mid and late spring, and that is edible. You can pull the roots out, and then you mash them up and you get the juices out of the roots. That makes a good soap. So it's a very useful plant, not so much for food, but for other things, cordage and soap and things like that. And but the reason why I won't be showing how to do it is because this is such an early time in the year. This plant really needs to get not be messed with. So there's and it's not even legal for me to do that here. So it's hard for me to show you what I know about this, but I can tell you. And you know, knowing it, you know, does help. So what we have here is juniper. You can eat these little berries. Some people say it's poisonous, but it's not. It's just that they're so resiny they can make you sick. So it's kind of a dire straits famine food, but you can eat that. It is edible. Just might not make you feel very good. But it's just so resiny, so much sap, and it's just not very pleasant. All right, so you got your common dandelion. You find those a lot out here. Again, you can eat the whole plant. And in fact, you sometimes can uproot the roots, roast them, chop them up, grind them, and that can be kind of a coffee of sorts. Now, I'm not going to do that. This is so early in spring, it's detrimental to bees that they have these blossoms here available. So this is just it's an unethical time for that kind of foraging. And you want to be ethical, even for the plants. You know, even if you're a vegetarian or something like that, it's more than just killing animals. You know, you're messing with the plants too and other insects, so you have to think about that in order to stay ethical. So that's what we do. It's the right way to do it. All right, so I'll show you an idea. We're gonna try it. I'm gonna take this. This is like, you know, these collapsible canteens. You can probably do it with a water filter as long as it's clear. And I'm gonna take this snow. Idea being, if I didn't have a filter available and maybe I didn't have fire available, you still can get viruses from the snow, but if you're careful, you take it off of the inner layer, the lower layers of the snow, you have a lot less chance of it and a lot less chance of getting things like Giardia from the river and whatnot. But then, since it's clear and we got enough sun out, you can hang this on your pack or just kind of hold it in, maybe put it under your shirts, but since this is a flat kind and it won't take up much room, you can let your body heat melt it, or you can let the greenhouse effect take and melt that. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna just take a picture of it after I do it, and then we'll see how that works just from hanging it off of my pack. And if that doesn't work here pretty soon, I'll just put it inside my shirt and I'll have melted water. And to get this company's stuff, they got a water filter, kind of like a Life Straw kind of thing. Fits right on there, and you know you'll be good. So that's good for even if there is no rivers around or anything. So we're gonna try it. All right, so I've let that water melt a little bit here, and got the filter. I'm gonna use the filter. I think you're fine usually with the way you brush off the outer layers of the snow and get to the snow that's been on the inside. I think you're pretty much fine, but just to make sure. Now look, still slushy, but we do have water, and Alright, so it's good to have these filters. This one's Survivor filter. I like it. It hooks into other bottles and stuff. But it's good to have them. And because then you can play it safe when you're doing these kinds of things. Obviously, you know, 99% chance you should be fine, but you can play it safe, and that's what you should do. We got a nice sunny day, sweating. Oh man, now it's just winter. Oh, it's so snowy and cold. Sweating, freezing balls. That's Colorado for you. In 10 minutes it could start snowing for all we know. So that's just the Rocky Mountains. That's how it goes here. So we got this here pine. I'm going to show a little example. I'm using this one that is broken off, but everything is still green. So it's pretty recent. So the reason why I'm using that to show harvesting the cambium layer of bark is because, you see, you want to be ethical. You don't want to take from a healthy tree. So, you know, if you can do it in a way like this, where it's kind of a gift from nature that's happened, and you're not taking from the environment. So, take your knife, kind of just start right there. You're getting into the bark just a little bit right there, and just keep carefully going down. Oop, I went too far right there. It's a very thin layer on the branch like this. It's actually really good fat wood. There we go. It's just past this red bit here. Very thin. You want to have a nice sharp blade for this because you just want to take a little bit at a time. I just dug into it a little bit there, and then I don't know how well. Back up just a little. I can take and shave that little bit. Here, grouse. So, take that little bit. You're getting a lot of fat and even proteins and stuff. A lot of carbohydrates. You just repeat. You can do that since it's already fell and it's going to be a goner anyways. You do that all the way around. But say you are taking from a healthy tree, you just take a piece about like that, and as long as the sap can still travel up and down the tree, you don't want to go all the way around it. You can go all the way around it in a situation like this where it's already a goner. Another thing you can look for is beetle kill or fire kill like that. You know, anything that the tree's already dead, you should be fine. You want to stay ethical. Hi, my name is Travis Hazelton. I just got finished putting together a little bit of video of me taking my kids on kind of a day hike, and me just kind of walking by some of the trailside edibles and how to harvest the cambium layer. And I just did a very, very small amount because I didn't want to harm much of the environment, and I also didn't have the time. And on top of that, I was on a public trail, so you don't want to be sitting there just affecting the scenery too much. So I didn't strip the bark off of an entire tree or anything. So it was just a tiny little piece. If you're wondering why it was just a small piece, I'm not in a survival situation, so I'm not going to just, you know, make everything look all ugly and everything for all the other trail goers and everything out there. So one thing I'd like to talk about, it's really important to me that the ethics of wilderness gets talked about more. I think that everyone needs to go into the wilderness as if it's their garden. I don't think I don't think that most people, when they're out there practicing these things, I mean, certainly when you're camping and you're going to be out there for a few days, yeah, but I know a lot of people that'll go out there just for a day and they'll make a shelter and they'll tear things apart. And, you know, sometimes they're not just only grabbing the deadfalls. Most of the time that's illegal. Most of the time it's illegal to do it even if you're out there camping. At least out here in the northern Colorado area, it's not even legal for you to do it. And the reason why is because you're doing damage to the environment. You know, everyone feels good when they're harvesting a little trailside edible or something, but it's not always ethical. It's not always necessary. Certainly in a survival situation and when you're really out in the middle of nowhere, yeah, but it's not, generally speaking, even though you know how to do it, doesn't mean you should be doing it all the time. So I don't sit there and this time of year, unless I were starving, I'm not going to sit there and eat dandelions. I'm not going to sit there and pick the berries when they're barely even grown. I'm not going to do that. That's not ethical. The animals need those. You need to understand that it's all a big part of an infrastructure here, and how nature works and everything. The bees, they need those dandelion blossoms. I don't even spray them in my front yard. I wait until the blossoms die off. I don't let them go to seed because my HOAs, man, I don't understand them. Those people, you know, that take the money from you and they'll tell you what to do with your yard, you know, it's like, but you'll take and I'll wait for the blossoms to die down before I'll spray them or pull them because I want that to be available for the bees. At the very least, I don't want them getting poisoned by the poison I'm putting into the plant. It already sounds horrible. So, at any rate, unless I'm in a situation I don't want to be taking from the environment where I need to. So if you're wondering why I didn't do a friction fire, it's because I didn't need a fire. And if you're wondering why I didn't, sit there and boil a bunch of water, I didn't need to. And that, it just isn't necessary at the time. So, I mean, anyone knows how to do that. I can make a video about these, a bow drill or something, and it'd be one of any several hundred that are on YouTube. That's why I don't have some of this stuff. And most of the time when I do talk about something, I'm talking about ethics. Because I think people miss the boat on that a lot. Everyone, even people who don't hunt and they only want to eat plants, and they don't, because they don't want to kill something. That's understandable. But you have to feel the same way about every plant, every blade of grass as you do about those animals. So that's very important. So at any rate, the gardener mentality, that's important. I wanna showcase that. If you let me on the show, I will definitely showcase that this is kind of my world, and I have to show respect for it and everything. I won't just be chopping down a bunch of stuff, and I will also tell you why and what I know of everything. And anytime I learn anything new, I will put a new video out there. And anyone else out there who's watching this, whether it's for that show alone or not, I want you to know I'm going to showcase the things I do, but I'm not out there putting a bunch of videos on all the same things you've ever seen. I just want to show you what I'm doing. Whenever I go hunting or camping, I'm just gonna show you anything I learned or any new thing I've tried. But I'm not going to just show you for the 30th time that you've seen how to make a Wickiup. So, thank you. I hope you consider me for Alone, and anyone else. I hope that they enjoy this little snippet of video on trailside edibles and a little brief overcap of how wilderness ethics should be. So, thank you. Have a good one.